I'm Vicki Rueckert, president of EduLink Inc., and we are talking about investing in human capital. In fact, if you think about it, it has to do with linking for success, even in the toughest of times. As you know, within our schools, we still have issues with dropouts. We have issues with those students in bullying and those areas that distract from learning. So it's time for us to act. In fact, we talk about it at EduLink in terms of accountability, communication, and teamwork. So when we are focusing on those specific skills, we're talking about the very same skills that you have been talking about with your students, those 21st century skills. We're starting to embed those skills within the curriculum, but we need to be more intentional in terms of how we actually deal with them in terms of staff members. In fact, if you look at this particular illustration, in 1945, we had about 40 workers for every retired person. Today, we have less than 3. So the implications for us, if we don't stop that pendulum from swinging back and forth, we're going to have the same issues that we had back years ago. So how are we going to do that? Well, if we look in terms of the issues that we have facing for us, we have a model called Linking for Success. And our success model really is that. It's linked together, taking the effective schools research, taking those characteristics of high-performing organizations and individuals. We start with a focus. We know we have to measure. There are certain behaviors that need to take place. That culture and climate's important. There has to be leadership and ultimately relationships. We need to see that we have accountability so that we can ensure that we're making the progress that we really want to see occur. We focus on the additional aspect of taking the educators and looking at those 21st century skills. So how do we do that? We start off by addressing a personal focus, self-esteem, purpose, goals, positive attitude, and risk-taking. How many times are we addressing those issues and those skills with the adults in the students' world? So it's time that we address those so that ultimately we can take out the stress that we see our educators facing. We spend time on curriculum development and teaching strategies, and yet where are we in terms of those personal strategies and skills we need? Ultimately, we need to deal with balance and quality of life. How often have you spent time as a staff talking about that? So it's important for us not only to look at 21st century skills in relationship to our students having success, it's important for us as educators to have that done as well. The demands for today are both personal and they are professional. And yes, they are stressful. So those skills and having them embedded within our working day as well as in the curriculum will certainly help to build those relationships. All of that ultimately helps to overcome those obstacles, and we can do it together. But it has to be, as I said, with intentionality. Once we have that in terms of personal focus, we go on to working together as a team. Have we concentrated on those particular skills with staff? Probably not at this point in time. We expect it of students, but where are we with our educators? We talk about behaviors, bad of engagement. How about listening skills? Where are you in terms of that with your staff? Identifying importance, looking at each student individually. We can maximize performance within our schools, but it needs to be by first starting with the educators if we expect those skills to be taught to the students to have that particular success that we're looking for. Communication. We assume educators have those skills, and yet where have we spent time really sharing those with each other so that we do have those internalized? We expect it of students. It's time to expect it of educators. We model, and it's so important that out of that we need to take the time so that we can have that gift of noticing. Where is the teaming in terms of colleague to colleague, teacher to parent, or student to teacher? We can have transformation with intentionality, both personal and professional, and together we can do it. It's a new approach. We've always done curriculum, we've always done teaching strategies. Maybe it's time now that we start looking at investing in human capital. We can identify and we can celebrate. It's time to look at relationships, and ultimately, we can have higher achievement within our schools. Thank you.